Hello, everybody. It's Congressman Jamie Raskin coming to you today from the Rayburn House Office Building. It's Friday, April 18th. It's my favorite time of the week. We do Local Hero, where we celebrate the people who make and have made our community such an extraordinary place. And I've got a very special local hero for you this week. My friend Lisa Ann Walter, who grew up in Silver Spring in the heart of the 8th District, went to schools here. I wanted to talk to her about all of that, but she's become, of course, a major star of screen and stage. A lot of kids will remember her from The Parent Trap, but today she is starring in Abbott Elementary, where she plays a teacher, and that's got some resonance in her own family history. But she is also, in addition to all of that incredible stuff she's done in her professional career, she's a public citizen and an activist and a leader with the Actors Guild, with the Equal Rights Amendment, and fighting for kids in public education. For all these reasons, even though you have abandoned us a little bit to California, Lisa Ann, you are our local hero here in Maryland's beautiful 8th District. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You got to put it on your resume.
That was real. Oh, it's going to be the first thing.
Yeah.
Bump Abbott Elementary right off the list.
All right, tell us where you grew up and where you went to school and what public schools have meant to you and your family.
Okay, so I'll give you the list. New Hampshire Estates Elementary. I grew up in, like, my family, when they first moved to the area, we were in Palmer Park, and then we went to Langley Park. I went to middle school and Tacoma Park. I went to Piney Branch Middle, Tacoma Park Junior High, and Blair High School.
Those were all our schools in my family.
And you know what? You hear my Maryland accent?
Very much so, yes.
When I start talking about home, for some reason, I'm like, come on, we're going to go Dundalk and get some crabs. You want to go? We're going to go bowling. Come on, Billy, let's go. It comes out when I come home.
It's very authentic.
Home to me.
Very authentic.
This is home. And California is where I live because I have to work there. But when I come here, especially this time of year, with the cherry blossoms out, it is amazing.
I'd love to hear it. You hear that, Hannah Raskin? See, I've got kids who've gone out to California, so it's got to draw on the young people. So
I don't know why. They think it's all surfing and crazy kid music. But I got a great education in the schools that I went to. My mother was a teacher, both in D.C. and also in Montgomery County schools. She taught as a substitute at Tacoma Park and at Blair.
Did you do drama and theater?
I did.
In high school? You did?
I did. In fact, I knew what I wanted to do when I was like 5 years old at New Hampshire Estates. They did in kindergarten. They did a show, songs from The Sound of Music. Our class did Doe a Deer, and I got to be the star, and I wore a big papier-mâché deer head, and I was very upset that nobody could see me. I wanted to be the star, but I didn't know about the deer head. And it went straight through from there.
You never looked back at that point.
I wound up being Yenta in Fiddler on the Roof at Montgomery Blair and made people laugh and cry. And
another MoCo success story, MCPS. Well,
and I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, is entertain people.
That's too cool.
Yeah.
Well, look, I know you've been involved in so many different kinds of political causes, and that's very important to you. Some of that comes from the family you grew up in and the community you grew up in.
First of all, I will have to say, in gratitude to both my parents, who are very smart people. My father was a NASA physicist. He dissected moon rocks. I may or may not have taken a moon rock to show and tell at one of those Montgomery County schools. It's not legal, but I think I did. And
people are stealing a lot more from the government these days.
That's fair. So, That is fair. Yeah. I mean,
that moon rock was probably free anyway.
So. Well, they just found it on the moon lying around. Yeah. I don't think I was grifting or anything. But anyhow, my mom was a public servant, and I grew up very aware of the duty of citizens to give back to the community. We were very politically active even when I was a kid. I marched against the Vietnam War and for women's rights. Started marching for the ERA when I was probably 8 or 9. Yeah. And couldn't believe that it wasn't already in the Constitution. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean we're not equal? What?
You and your sister were natural-born feminists.
Exactly. Well, maybe I was louder than my sister. There was a group of 4 of us girls. My next-door neighbor, Eleanor and Dee Dee, neighbors, and my sister and I ran the streets of Langley Park on our Schwinns, and we just did stuff. We held carnivals for muscular dystrophy where we made all the games and invited the neighborhood to come and play, and no adults helped us. We just did it. Yeah. We wrote letters to the editor of the Washington Post when we didn't like how something was going. So we felt very empowered. And there was no reason for us to feel that way. We just felt powerful as these 4 little girls running around together.
Yeah, you're making me nostalgic for the old days. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You're still involved in the fight for the Equal Rights Amendment.
I am.
Right? Haven't you just taken a big new position?
I am the chair of the ERA Coalition, which works, among other groups, to help protect the ERA as it sits now, enshrining it in the Constitution in the future, so that we don't have some of the problems that are looming. And just that little thing of equal rights under the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that Equal Rights Amendment is sort of unnecessary, but we're living in a time where we can see how quickly everything goes away.
100%.
How things can be taken away, and that's why you need to put it into the Constitution. Even if it's in the Constitution, it's not necessarily safe. But without it, we're in real trouble.
In real trouble. And it was surprising to me as I travel in circles of people who are very politically active, who seem to be aware of what's going on. A lot of them didn't realize that it had not been published in the Constitution, that it was not, that even though enough states had ratified, that it was not enshrined in written law. So I implore everybody, if you can get involved even a little bit amongst all the other things that we do, it's just another kind of no-brainer. Like, yes, of course we should have equal rights.
Yeah, and when we get through this nightmare, that's just got to be a critical part of what we do to inscribe in the Constitution.
Thank you, please.
Thank you also fighting for public education and for all kids' right to a first-class education in America.
Well, I mean, I think some of it was, I was made aware of it because I watched my mother struggle with not being able to, she had to go into her own pocket to pay for some of the supplies, as teachers still do. I think $860 per teacher is what they spend out of their own pocket.
On average, that's what they're spending?
That's what they're spending. And I mean, in no other profession are you asking people to do that. Oh, we're not giving you enough, so you provide it for something that's a public service that we should all be able to expect for our children.
Like doctors don't have to buy their own scrubs or their own stethoscopes.
Yes, lawyers aren't running around like, I brought the legal pads today. Like, there would be riots in the street.
Yeah.
But we're expecting teachers who are paid a lot less than doctors or lawyers, which, by the way, coinky dink that it's a predominantly female profession.
Yeah.
I think not.
Yeah.
So, I think that it is time that we support teachers and what they do, because that affects the future of our community.
Yeah.
What teachers are able to do from Head Start through high school really affects the outcome of, we want to stop the school to prison pipeline. We want to make sure that these kids have a chance to have a future that they deserve.
We want a democracy with educated citizens.
That too.
Lisa Ann Walter, who is a champion of the arts, of theater, of drama, of voice expression, creativity, democracy, education.
Wow.
And we are so blessed to call her our very own, our local hero this week. And everybody, please send her an email and tell her how much you love her.
Yeah. Go on my socials, Lisa Ann Walter. I read them. Thank you for honoring me, because I'm a fan of yours. It's a very smart man.